right. All right. It is time. It is time to roll up the sleeves because we're going in the thick stuff and we're getting nasty. The goal today is to find the thickest, most matted, choked out pads we can, throw a jig or a craw tube right through them, and then hopefully just launch bass out of them as hard as we can swing. Today is all about swinging like dang Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, what have you. We're doing something very fun today, potentially. The conditions seem right, so fingers crossed it goes down. But yeah, let's roll up the sleeves and let's get it on. All right, 2 approaches out the gate. 1 flipping bait, 1 jig. This is a 5/8 ounce tungsten weight, Texas rig to a craw tube, green pumpkin, a little bit of chartreuse in the back. And then this is a 3/4 ounce all-terrain tackle Grassmaster jig, black and blue. When I think of punching in the thick stuff, I think of punching a craw tube or punching a Grassmaster jig. So we're gonna kind of let the fish tell us what they want today. We're just gonna go nice and slow and keep them honest both ways. Flip a little craw tube, flip a little jig, flip a little more jig, flip a little more craw tube, change some colors around. They'll tell us. When they want it, they'll tell you. All right, first flip of the day. Right in the thick. So I just fished like 20 yards, no bites. That's no big deal. This can be a game of just going nice and slow, and then as soon as you get 1 bite, there can be 10, 20 fish in a pod underneath a patch of pads. So if you don't get bit right away doing this, don't worry. There we go. First bite of the day. Way up there. Get in here. Oh, just a little rat. That's a sign. All right, first bite of the day on the craw tube. Way up there. Way up there. I need to get deeper. Beautiful little northern Minnesota bass. See you, buddy. Okay. Okay. There we go. There's another one. Not a big one again. God, they're eating it deep though. That's a good sign. They're gonna get bigger. There we go. Just that little patch of pads. Get up here. Once again, nothing big, but they're in there. See you, buddy. Okay. Now, this isn't necessarily always true, but just like bass that school up on certain breaks or offshore structure, rock piles, what have you, sometimes they school in size. So if you're flipping around and you are flipping and you're catching them and they all seem to be kind of small, sometimes it's not a bad idea to keep on moving. A lot of times those bigger fish all group up together. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kind of fast flip a lot of this till I poke a good one. Then when I poke a good one, I'm really gonna slow down because them big mamas might be together. Oh, I think he hit it. He hit it as soon as it... Oh! No! God! Please, no! 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 Oh, ugly hook set. Where are you, big mama? Fatter one. I was like in that same exact hole. We have a lot of pads to flip. There's pads all the way around this lake, and I'm still myself learning, you know, what makes better pad mats or better junk to flip at in general, just to be able to break a lake down. And I'm sure a lot of it has to do with bottom composition. If you can find some bottom that's a little bit harder, a little bit deeper water, maybe there's some structure under there, maybe there's some logs, maybe there's some good weeds growing within the mat. I'm sure those are all just kind of high percentage points that would make a certain mat or a certain section of the pads better. So that's kind of what I'm learning today too, as we just slowly flip along. So we're on to something. We're on to something. I can feel it. I just went a while without getting a bite. There's a lot of good water when you're flipping pads, but there's a lot of dead water too. Hopefully we're on to something. Kind of got cloudy, started to mist a little bit. I don't know if some of those fish that were deep under the pads are starting to move to the edge. I might have to adjust. Either way, that's a bite, hopefully in the right direction. We might have found a pot of fish now. Now we ride. Now we ride. I'm gonna pick the jig up a little bit more on the outside of these pads, but I gotta stick with this craw tube. They're eating it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't know why, fishing like this gets my heart pumping more than any other type of bass fishing. There's a million techniques underneath the sun to catch a bass, but this one is like truly 0 to 100. It'll be nice and calm, and then as soon as you feel that thunk, you basically gotta punch them as hard as you can and rip them out of there. So, all right, let's keep doing it. Let's do it again and again and again and again. All right. That was some greasy, bad to the bone, roll your sleeve up, get in there tight, and rip bass out type of fishing. That was an absolute blast. The craw tube really shined today. A lot of times the jig will shine over the craw tube. You just got to rig them both up, see what they like that day. And today was an absolute blast. Every lake is different, and right now we're at Steph's grandparents' cabin, and we're just doing a bunch of fishing, a bunch of camping over the 4th. And this lake sets up, it's very pad driven, it's very weed driven. There's not a lot of offshore structures, so I feel like a lot of those fish are piling underneath these pads. And like I said, every lake's different. If you've got trashy weeds, if you've got mats, if you've got thick pads, if you've got pad mats, it doesn't matter. If it feels like it holds shade and it has some cover, flip in there. I think you'll be really surprised what you get. Yeah, you don't need a lot of electronics to do this. You just need your eyes. Identify some key areas, identify the thickest areas, go flip it, go try it, move to the next spot, flip it, try it, move to the next spot. If you get bit in an area, definitely slow down. Toward the end of the day here, I was kind of making holes in the pads. I'd catch one and rip it out and make a hole. And then I'd flip back in there and I'd just let that craw tube sit on the bottom. I wouldn't even move it. Maybe I'd twitch it once or twice, wouldn't even move it. Give it a solid 5-10 seconds, thunk, something would pick it up again. The gear today, the craw tube shines, so we'll talk about that. Sam Sobi Special 765 flipping stick. It's very important to have a very stout, strong rod. I'm very impressed with this rod. I've been beating on it all week long. Beat on it all last year too, but been really beating on it this week. And yeah, it's held up great. But probably the most important part is quality line. Suffix Performance Braid, 65 pound. And I know what you're thinking, 65 pound probably seems a little overkill. It's not. If you're fishing in really thick stuff and you flip in there, you need everything you got to rip them out of those weeds as fast as you can. The faster you can rip them out of the weeds and get them out of that junk, the way higher your landing percentage goes up. So quality line, quality rod, and other than that, just some quality hooks and having the ability to really slow down. Another huge advantage today is the Raptors. Shallow water anchors have changed the game of shallow water fishing, and to be able to just kind of sit, even though there's a slight breeze, I can sit down and really methodically poke a bunch of holes. It's like I'm ice fishing. When you're ice fishing a big basin, you poke a bunch of holes until you land on top of them. Kind of doing the same exact thing here. I'm just sitting down, going slow, poking a bunch of holes. Boom, there's a fish. Boom, there's a pot of fish. So I'm having a blast up here. I feel like I'm in freaking heaven. Northern Minnesota is truly God's country, and I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to come up and fish here. Thank you, Steph's grandparents, for letting me come out here and beat on some of your bass. And yeah, I hope everybody had a wonderful 4th. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I'll link everything down below, from the hooks to the craw tubes to the rod to the line. And yeah, if you're going out bassing next, pick up a heavy setup and start flipping. I guess there's nothing left to say than stay tuned, and as always, let the adventure begin. See you.
Move ahead, oh my pretty babe. Something ain't right. Got to find a way to move ahead.